welcome to this tutorial video on how mouses are working. The early designs traces back to 1946 where the first trackball mouses has been invented. During the 1960s and 1970s, the design has been progressed and trackball mouses has been created. It wasn't until early 1963 where Douglas Engelhardt has created the first mouses with wooden box. These mouses contained two metal wheels and they were rolling into two horizontal and vertical movements. In early 1980s, invention of mechanical mouses changed the game forever. The mechanical mouses had a ball encompassed with two rotate rulers. While the ball was moving, it changed the current amount of the rotator, and these signals were transferred to computer, and by processing the signal, it was possible to translate electrical current into coordinate of movement in computer space. In the late 1980s, where the graphical user interfaces became more popular, more features and functionalities have been added to mouse like scrolling and buttons to help the users in order to better interact with digital interfaces. Between 1990s and 2000, invention of optical and laser mouses has changed the game forever. In these mouses, instead of a ball, they used LED lights and a sensor in order to take picture of surface and compare the differentiation between successive image and determine the movement amount. Regardless of the features and usability of optical mouses, it had some problems, like its precision was negligible. And that was when the laser mouses has been invented, and in the structure of laser mouses, diodes instead of LEDs were used in order to work on more surfaces. After diodic mouses invention, the next invention was occurred at 2000s, where the radio frequency mouses has been used. These mouses had a USB dongle plugged into the computer and communicated with the main device using radio frequencies waves. In the late 2000s, wireless mouses has been invented. They used wireless dongle wireless circuit in their PCB, and it was integrated in them, and it helped the mouse to have more battery life. In the late 2010, companies like Apple have invented multi-touch screen-based mouses. These mouses were able to recognize gesture on its surface and enabled the user to perform multitasking operations. At the moment, there is a comprehensive research being conducted in haptic feedback mouses. These mouses are able to communicate with the user with haptic signals and help them to better communicate with the digital world. There are also companies working on augmented and virtual reality mouses, which enables the users to better communicate with the digital world. Experts believe that the future of controlling and scrolling and more features is depend on advancement in brain-computer interfaces. While this might sound like science fiction, there's ongoing research into controlling computers directly with our brain waves. In distant future, traditional input devices will be discarded and replaced with direct brain-to-computer communication. Thanks for your attention.